Welcome back. Today, we're really diving deep into the world of 110 scale performance.
That's right.
We're looking specifically at aerodynamics, comparing two really iconic body shells,
Yeah.
the Tamiya Hornet and the Parma PSE Grasshopper.
Classics. Absolute classic.
We got a whole stack of sources from you comparing these two. And our mission really is to unpack how physics at this small scale works and figure out which design approach wins out. Is it the looks, the aesthetics, or is it pure efficiency on the track?
It's a great question. Aesthetics versus function.
Okay, so let's maybe start with speed, because that seems key here.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, what kind of surprised me reading through this was that apparently aerodynamics don't really become a big deal until you hit a certain speed.
That's exactly right. There's a threshold.
Right. And for these 110 scale cars, it's, what, somewhere around 15, maybe 20 miles per hour?
Generally, yeah, that's the accepted range. Below that, the air just doesn't have enough force, really.
So the stock Grasshopper, the one with that little 380 motor, it often doesn't even consistently get to that speed range.
Correct. So it's body shape. Mostly just for looks at those speeds. It's cosmetic.
But the Hornet's different. It's got the bigger 540 motor. It's punchier.
Much punchier.
So it operates right in that zone where airflow, well, starts to matter a lot.
Exactly. And that's where things get interesting, because now we have to look at the actual forces involved.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Drag.
Drag is the big one, yeah. That's the force basically pushing back, resisting the car's motion. And then there's downforce.
Downforce that pushes the car down, right, for grip.
Precisely. It's the vertical force that helps stick the tires to the track, especially important for stability and traction.
Gotcha. So how do these two bodies handle those forces?
Yeah.
Let's start with the Grasshopper. The sources seem pretty critical of its design.
Well, yeah, aerodynamically, it's, let's say, not optimized. It was designed for looks, for that nostalgic dune buggy feel, not really for slicing through the air.
It does look kind of blocky.
It's what we call a bluff body. High front, quite blunt, rounded. It just slams into the air. Creates a lot of resistance right off the bat.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the real killer, performance-wise, is that open cockpit. You know, the bucket style with the little driver figure in there?
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Looks cool.
It looks cool, absolutely. But aerodynamically, it's like deploying a small parachute. It just scoops air.
Ah, okay.
That creates this huge, messy, turbulent wake behind the car. Swirling air. And that translates directly into massive pressure drag. It's literally holding the car back.
So it was acting like an air bike. Wow. And I noticed it doesn't have a rear wing either.
Nope, no rear wing. And worse, the sources suggest that at higher speeds, that body shape can actually start to generate aerodynamic lift.
Lift. Like an airplane wing.
Yep.
That's the opposite of what you want.
Exactly. It starts trying to lift the front wheels off the ground. Terrible for control.
Okay, so the Grasshopper's a bit of an aerodynamic disaster if you're aiming for speed. What about the Hornet then? It looks much more aggressive.
It is much more aggressive, and the design reflects that focus on performance. It tackles drag right from the nose.
How so?
It's got that low, wedge-shaped nose that helps the air flow over it much more smoothly, minimizes that initial impact, that frontal drag.
And the cockpit area. Still has a driver, but it looks different.
It's different, yeah. It's not that wide-open bucket. It's more of a semi-open tunnel. It's designed to manage the airflow through and over the cockpit area much more effectively. Less turbulence, less drag compared to the Grasshopper's cavity.
Okay, so better shape, better cockpit airflow. But the wing, that seems like the biggest visual difference.
It's arguably the most critical aerodynamic difference, yes. That rear wing on the Hornet isn't just for show. It's designed as a proper inverted airfoil.
Inverted airfoil. Meaning it works like an upside-down airplane wing.
Exactly. Instead of generating lift, it generates downforce. It actively pushes the rear end of the car down onto the track.
And the Grasshopper just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
At all.
Nothing. Which means as speeds increase, the Hornet gets more stable at the rear, while the Grasshopper, as we said, potentially gets less stable.
Okay, this is where, for me, it got really interesting reading the sources. They connect that wing directly to a problem with the chassis itself.
Yes, that's a crucial link. The downforce isn't just like a nice bonus for the Hornet, it's almost necessary.
Because of the pivot slap.
Exactly that. The infamous Tamiya rear suspension pivot slap. It's a known issue with that chassis design.
Can you remind us what that is?
Sure. Basically, under acceleration, the entire rear axle assembly, which is quite heavy, tends to violently pitch upwards and then slam back down. It causes the rear wheels to hop, lose traction, It's really unstable.
Right, I've seen videos of that. It looks pretty bad.
It is bad for performance, and the Hornet's wing helps counteract that. By constantly pushing down on the rear axle area, it helps suppress that hopping motion.
So it keeps the tires planted, especially when you're punching the throttle with that 540 motor.
Precisely. It helps stabilize the car right when that powerful motor is trying its hardest to make the chassis unstable. The Grasshopper, without that downforce, would just become even more of a handful if you put a faster motor in it.
So, putting it all together, if you're just looking at performance, going faster, getting better lap times, the Hornet body shell is just better.
Unequivocally, yes. For performance applications, it's the superior design. It reduces drag compared to the Grasshopper, and it actively generates useful downforce. It complements the stronger motor and even helps mask a chassis flaw.
Okay, clear winner on the aerodynamics front.
Right.
But it does sound a bit like the wing is a Band-Aid, right? A really well-designed one, but still covering up an underlying issue.
That's a perfect way to put it. While the Hornet body is the aerodynamic winner here, it is essentially treating as symptom the instability caused by pivot slap.
So the wing helps manage the problem, but doesn't fix the problem.
Exactly. And the sources point out that the most significant performance improvements for this platform don't actually come from swapping body shells.
So where do they come from?
They come from addressing the root cause, that rear suspension geometry. There are aftermarket solutions, engineered parts that fundamentally correct the suspension movement and eliminate that pivot slap.
Right, changing the mechanics of it.
Yes. Fixing the geometry provides a much bigger, more foundational performance gain than just optimizing the airflow over the top.
So that leaves you, the listener, with a really interesting choice, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It raises that question. If you want to make your Hornet or Grasshopper faster and handle better, where do you focus your effort and your budget? Do you treat the symptom with aerodynamics, like the Hornet body does? Or do you invest in fixing the root cause, the chassis geometry itself? Something to think about.